So we will start our today's press conference, and I will introduce to you our today's agenda. First of all, we will have the beginning and the greeting words of the President of Vfa Interlift, Mr. Achim Hütter. Afterwards, we will have Thilo Könicke, CEO of AFAG, the organizer of Interlift, with the details about the current Corona situation and about the regulations. Afterwards, we can welcome Mr. Joachim Khalsdov, the project manager of Interlift. He will pass to you the facts and figures about Interlift 2022. After that, we will just have a short round of questions, starting please with our media representatives first in the first round. Just raise your hand if you have a question and I will pass the word to you and we can have it answered quite quickly. After the first round of questions by our media representatives, we have 4 statements from exhibitors of Interlift. We are starting with the CEO of SCHAEFER, Mr. Michael Gubisch. After that, we will have the CEO of the company COBIANCHI, Mr. Rudolf Ramseier. We can also present to you the export area manager of Nova Elevators, Ms. Rachele Soffritti. And we also have the public affairs director, Peyo Garcianda from Orona. A very warm welcome to all speakers this morning, and I'm very happy that you are here and you're passing also some information about your presentation at this year's Interlift. So at the end of our today's press conference, of course, we have also the chance for everyone to raise some questions. If you have some, you can write also in our chat or just raise your hand if you have any questions. One technical information to you, please. It's very important to switch off your microphone if you are not speaking. As soon as I pass the word to you, you can switch on your microphone and ask your question or your information passing to us. Thank you very much for that. My name is Henning Könicke. Together with Thilo Könicke, I am CEO of AFAG, the organizers company of Interlift. So a very warm welcome again. And now I'm passing the word to Mr. Achim Hütter, the President of Vfa Interlift.
Good morning, everyone. Achim Hütter here from VFA. I'd like to welcome you on behalf of VFA and thank you for attending this press conference. It has been a long time since we were able to meet in person, and it's about time to do it again, as it's important and it's the right thing to do. Of course, the board of VFA has intensively monitored and discussed the issue of the current Corona situation internally and externally. The result is that the board stands 100% behind the realization of Interlift in April this year. And 5 of the 7 board members are also exhibitors. In our view, all indicators show that an Interlift can be accomplished under safe conditions for exhibitors and visitors. For example, Italy held a very successful exhibition at the end of November last year. Countries like UK, France, Spain, Denmark, Austria, Switzerland have announced a reduction of or a waiver of the current Corona measures, and others will follow. In 5 weeks, the Heilbronner Aufzugstage will take place as a live event. The exhibition place for this event has been overbooked. Taking all these arguments into account, the Interlift, still almost 3 months ahead, will be, in our view, a must-attend event after more than 2 years of standstill. So we ask you, use this opportunity to meet again. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Hütter. Thank you for the opening words and also for the examples of live events taking place also at the end of last year and also at the beginning of this year. We can also have another example from our own company. We started again with our trade fair business in 2022 in January, and it was just the same situation. The exhibition space was overbooked, and there has been more than 100% of the participants from the last edition of this show in presence this year. So we see live events has to take place now, and the participants are very looking forward to taking part again in live meetings and also in live discussions. That's our experience for the last month. And also we are, of course, looking every day at the Corona situation, and we are also looking at the current regulations. And so now I'm passing over the word to Thilo Könicke to giving us some informations about our latest Corona regulations in Bavaria as well as in Germany. Thilo, please.
Thank you, Henning. Dear ladies and gentlemen, dear friends of the Interlift Trade Fair, the current time of a beginning relaxation is still characterized by many open questions, but increasingly there are also answers. I will give you a short overview and an outlook of the strategy of the Federal Republic of Germany, but also of the state of Bavaria. We will know and undisputedly high incidence has decoupled from the statistics of hospitality, intensive care capacity, and the regrettable death. Decisions are no longer measures on the incidence alone. Between early and mid-February, the decline in the number of cases is expected, which is why the federal government is announcing the withdrawal of federal Corona measures from this time onwards. In view of the above mentioned facts, the Bavarian state government has already started to withdraw or relax state regulations since mid-January. The Bavarian minister-president announced yesterday extensive relaxations of preventive measures for mid-February. A new directive is currently being drafted for the vaccinations not used in the EU. We will report on this. In the next few days, after the publications of the new Bavarian Corona regulations, exhibitors will receive an information letter on the new current rules for trade fairs and the relief to be expected until the Interlift. Currently, the following applies to access. You need a mask and must be fully vaccinated. I hope I give you a good overview and thank you for your attention.
Thank you also, Thilo, for the latest update about the Corona regulations. Of course, as you mentioned just before, we will pass all latest informations as soon as we have it received from our state government. We pass it on to the exhibitors for your preparations and also for your information. So at the latest next week, you will receive the next update from our side to be perfectly prepared and also for your information. So that's what's happening around us, what the politics are doing with us. And so we are now moving on about learning the latest numbers of Interlift 2022. And I would like to pass over the word to Joachim Khalsdov, who now can give us some facts and figures about our next edition. Joachim, please, the stage is yours.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. I'm Joachim Khalsdov and I'm the project manager for Interlift. We are very happy to meet our friends and partners live in Augsburg again after 2.5 years, and we know you feel the same way. Next, please. We currently have 312 exhibitors registered. 96% from the exhibitors came from Europe, 2% from Asia, and 2% from America. Next. Our exhibitors came from 27 countries. The largest participations came from Germany, Italy, Turkey, and Spain. At the moment, we are working together with Annika and with the FSME to organize a pavilion. Next one. In totally, we occupy over 40,000 square meters of hall space in 6 exhibition halls and the conference center. As in previous years, we have 2 entrances, one in hall number 1 and one in hall number 6. The Interlift Forum is also located in hall number 2, where you can get current trends, innovations, and information from the world of elevators in German and English language. The entire program is presented to you by VFA Interlift, which has its booth next to the forum. Next, please. Augsburg, Lift City 22, has also developed further. The hotel capacities were expanded in Augsburg. A direct new access road to the exhibition center was built from the visitor car park at the football stadium. There are bus shuttle services from Munich Airport, Munich Central Station, and Augsburg Central Station directly to the exhibition center, and you can find the timetable shortly under the Interlift website. And as a goodie, our exhibitors will receive customer invitations free of charge. Make good use of it. We have already provided you with 50 invitations, and you can order more. Next, please. Here you can see a city map with a total of 8 new hotels in Augsburg. Our partner at augsburgtourismus.de is at your disposal for reservations. Next. In addition to the presentation of innovations, networking at a trade fair, it is very important too, especially after 2.5 years of abstinence, to meet people. The Interlift Lift Experts Night will take place on Tuesday, April the 26th in the WWK Arena. You will receive invitations for this shortly. Our well-known Interlift team is at your disposal for all other questions. Angela for exhibitors from Southern Europe, Hanan for China, Bülent for Turkey and the NEMA states, Winfried for all questions about advertising and the press, Sandra and I, of course, for everything else. Thank you for your attention. I wish you a safe trip to Augsburg, and we all look forward to see you at Interlift. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Joachim, for your words and for your presentation about the facts and figures of Interlift 2022. Now, at that point of our press conference, we want to give the chance to our media representatives. Are there any questions at that point of time about the facts and figures, about the status of preparations, about the VFA Interlift Forum? Are there any questions from your side at that point of time? We also have a second slot for questions after the statements of our exhibitors, just at the end of our press conference. So first of all, please raise your hand, dear media representatives, if you have any questions. I see one hand up. Yes, just 1 second. Yes, please.
Hello, I'm Ulrike Lotze from Lift Journal. I have a question. How many exhibitors do you need for the Interlift to make a profit?
That question is for Joachim Khalsdov. You can answer, please.
So the question of profit, we want to make a presentation from all exhibitors from all over the world with the new innovations. And at the moment, we have more than 300. We think we will have 350 to 400 in April, the new date. But it's not a question of money.
It's all a question of content. And hopefully that's also the question for everyone else this year. You
are not interested in money.
First of all, we're interested in passing over this pandemic situation. And so that's for the most important point for us to get back into business and to present the business platform also for the lift companies. And so content is everything at that point.
Okay.
And after 2.5 years without any exhibitions, we are very happy to organize the show once more.
Okay, like a charitable organization. I have a second question. I haven't seen on your chart the Hütter cube. What's about Hütter?
Last week we had a meeting with Hütter, and they canceled their participation for 22, and we are preparing the participation for 23.
Oh, okay. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Also, any question from you left? No. Okay. I have one question in the chat and also a raised hand from, I don't know, Mr. or Miss Laporta about vaccination. So
yes,
the stage is yours, Mr. Laporta, I heard.
Yes, hello, okay. Laporta.
Hello.
I work for sales manager from DMG, Italy, Rome. Good morning to everyone. I just wanted to ask you something very, very simple. You told us regarding a complete vaccination. I would like to understand what this means, because in Italy, we have 2 different steps. The first one is the first 2 vaccination, and then there is the booster, the third one. And I would to know if complete means that we have all have the boost, that means 3 vaccination, and if also the people that will arrive to us, the client, must always have 3 vaccination, booster in the, also booster 2.
Okay, thank you for the question. We understood. In Germany, it's called 2G+. 2G+ means that you have to have 2 vaccinations, and the plus means one point could be you have the booster, so everything's okay. You do not have to do anything else. The plus can also mean you are tested. So first of all, you need 2 vaccinations. That's the most important fact. And after that, if you have the booster, then it's a plus. So everything's okay. With the booster, you can come in, no problem at all. And if you don't have the booster, there is also the possibility of a test instead of the booster. That's the same regulation for exhibitors as well as for visitors.
Thank you.
Thilo, if you have any, Thilo, do you have any addition? No. Okay. Okay, Mr. Laporta, that's fine for you.
Thanks. Thank you.
Mr.
Thank you also.
The Italian green pass is fine. If the Italian pass shows green, you can go inside, okay?
Exactly, we have this green pass, but you know, sometimes each of us has different ideas and understand only what he wants to understand. That's why we want to be sure. Thanks a lot.
You know, we are specialists in European vaccination documents at the moment.
And we are improving every day about the regulations, so don't worry. Okay. Then, do you have any additional question? Thilo, we have one question in our chat, I see. It's about, what about recovered persons? There are also recovered green passes. Is the admission possible with the recovered green pass? Thilo.
The recovered green pass need also a test. You can make it on the fairground, but the green pass for a recovering sick is enough. Okay. That's also the question from Francesca. If you have 2 vaccinations and the COVID green pass after you had COVID, so about the recovered, that's the same Thilo just said. If you're recovered, you need just to put up a test, and then everything's also okay. Or you're recovered and have 1 vaccination. That's also possible. Free access. But for that, you have an exactly fact sheet on our homepage. It's a little bit difficult with the different vaccinations, but we are very professional in this. And can you answer every disease of this? So if you have any further questions to the vaccination status, please look at our website. We have always, every week, an updated term sheet of vaccination status of the European Union as well as of the German government on our website. So you can just update yourself every week new.
and you have always the latest information there. So I have some more questions in the chat, but every question is about the vaccination and the vaccination status. I will sum up it once again. I see one raised hand by Mr. Thomas Prey. Do you have also a question about vaccination status, or do you have any other question?
Other questions.
Okay, then please.
Yeah, I have several actually. I would like to know the change in numbers of exhibitors in the number and actually in the exhibition surface. I mean, Hütter with the cube was one of the biggest, if not the biggest, exhibitor. How will that change? That's my question number one. Should I continue my questions? Do you want to write them down or one? Okay.
Yeah, just continue. Just continue.
Okay. The second question is, how many exhibitors do you expect on this fair 2022 compared to the last fair? Then I have the information on the German website, official website on fair activity, that in 2019 the visitor numbers went down by 85%. You were speaking about the numbers of exhibitors, but I think we all agree that we're mostly there to meet customers and not to meet other exhibitors. And so that number is significant. And we did make a poll with our customers from the LFGO, and 70% said they were for sure not coming to the fair. And amongst the other 30%, there are around about 50% who weren't sure if they were coming to the fair. So that would meet basically the 85% experience of last year. And then what I'm interested in, which you probably can't answer, but I'm interested in the other exhibitors, who is actually sending their own employees to the Interlift, employees who are not working as fair personnel. And last not least, we are also exhibiting on the Interschutz in Hanover, which is the world's biggest catastrophe service exhibition that is on only every 5 years, and it was postponed by 2 years. And the VDMA members, who are the biggest group and the most important group, without whom it couldn't actually be pulled through, have voted that the fair should yet be postponed. And there we're talking about 7 years of not having met with the customers and potential customers, because everyone is aware of the fact that hardly anyone will come. You say it's not a commercial thing for the Interlift. I allow myself to disagree. We are all in business to make money, to make profits, and I'm sure you are too. And your customers, i.e. the exhibitors, they are going to the fair and they're investing a lot of money there. And they're investing a lot of money because they want to create business, and they want to create business to make profits. And so I think this topic should be addressed in this conference.
Thank you, Mr. Prey. Of course, these topics have to be discussed, and that's why we are here today, of course. I will just start with your questions from the last question beginning. Your question was, what about the exhibitors? Are they sending the personnel? I would say we postpone this question into the next round, because we have 4 exhibitors afterwards who are talking and who are presenting. And so maybe one of them can answer this question directly after this round of questions. To talk about the number of exhibitors, the surface, and the number of visitors, which of course, as you said, is the most important number we have. So number of exhibitors, you just recognized, Mr. Khalsdov was explaining at the moment, we are in contract with 317 exhibitors. We have the number we are expecting about 350 to 400. That's our goal for this year. That means that would be around 60 to 65% of the exhibitor number from last edition in 2019. The surface is just about the same, also about 65% of the last edition. As you mentioned, the cube, also known as Hall 8 and Hall 9. We are not building up Hall 8 and Hall 9 as temporary spaces this year, but we are in fact having the whole Augsburg Fairground with hall 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, and 7. They are at the moment nearly full with some spaces. Mr. Kalsdorf is at the moment in the acquisition of companies who can also take over these spaces. So we are in the acquisition process. Of course, we have to mention in normal years, the acquisition process is finished about 1 year before the show in 90% of the surface. This year, of course, everything is a bit later and a little bit shorter before the show. And so for us also, the preparations are not finished at that point of time. So you see 317 we have under contract at the moment, 350 to 400 is our goal. So there is some time left to have to use for the acquisition of exhibitors. We also have every week new applications for fairgrounds and for stands, and so we are just in the process of filling the last spaces in these halls I just mentioned before. So surface and exhibitors I just mentioned about 60 to 65%. That's the numbers we can present. What about the visitors? Of course, the visitors is for us, for you, the most important fact, but it's also the fact which can be very rapid changing. So the meaning of visitors is changing until 1 week before the show. I just mentioned to you we had one show in January. We were starting just normal in September and October. The process of visitor marketing and visitor acquisition for that show. And at the beginning, only 10% of the visitors from last edition were saying, okay, we are coming. Yes, we are committing. We are sure we will take part in that event. This number was rising up until 4 weeks before the show to 30%. 30% of the participants said, okay, we are coming. 1 week before the show, so very short before, we had a rising number from 30% to 110%. Visitors are waiting. They are waiting and waiting and waiting. Is it safe to come? Is it sure that the event will take place? Which companies are representing? Who is inviting me? Do I get a free ticket? What about the hotels? Is it safe to travel? What is the regulations also from my country? Maybe you recognized yesterday or the day before, as Italy and Austria have said that German tourists and also business travelers can enter the country now very easy without any registration forms. And with the middle of February, we are waiting for an EU regulation about the traveling restrictions from the other countries. So, of course, if you now ask a customer, are you coming in April? I'm not sure if the meaning and the idea of the customer can change within the next few weeks. So our idea and our opinion, also with the idea of the last shows and also with the view of the last shows, we can say that the decision of the visitors is very, very late, and it becomes even later. But also we recognized Mr. Hütter was saying about the show at the end of last year in Italy. It was really good. There were really good visitors. There were a lot of visitors. There were more visitors even than expected, and also very specialized visitors, and it was a success. The same with us, we experienced in January. 1 week before, it was not sure if it will get on success, because only 30 to 50% of the visitors were committing, yes, we are coming. The week before, it was clear the event will take place. The exhibitors are coming. The exhibitors are doing marketing. And so the visitors were sure the event will take place. And so everything ran fine. And we had 110% 10% of the attendance than the last previous edition in 2020. One last sentence concerning Interschutz and concerning our goals. You mentioned that we were saying, okay, it's not about money this year. It's not about, it's about content, and it's about an event taking place. You also have to know, for us, it's also an investment into the future. If you have just like Interschutz, I know the show, it's every 5 years, it's not very often, and now it's postponed. Just think about what business is running in the time in between. Now you have 7 years without an Interschutz, and 7 years, the market is changing quite well, and it's also moving on. And if it's a good idea to have a show every 5 years, okay, that's one point of the branch. They have to decide themselves how many shows they need for their business. But 7 years without that important show, I don't know if the business will come back after that long time period, just like before. So we can also only see it if we are there, and for you and your company, of course. You will see after these 7 years without Interschutz if the business is coming back like before, or if you need some investment for the next show, and the business will come back in the next edition. We can only experience if we try, you know. Was that, Mr. Prey, was that your question answered? Then I would forward to Mr. Matteo. Okay, Mr. Prey, for that point. Okay, thank you. Matteo, you're next.
Hello, I am Matteo Volpe from IGV and from the Elevatory magazine. My question is very simple. I had some people that are asking me, some companies, if there is an exhibition this year in Augsburg. I answer them, yes, of course. So my question is, why don't you make, or can you make an advice? Can you make more communication to people, to companies, and so on, that to confirm that there is the exhibition this year? Because I get some people that were asking me if there is Augsburg, if there is Interlift this year.
Thank you for your statement, Mr. Volpe, and for the idea. That is one point we are doing today. And of course, after today's press conference, we are doing a big send out to our whole database. You know, we are saying every time Augsburg will take place, Interlift will take place. You just have to believe in us. So many visitors and exhibitors are asking that question every week. Is it sure taking place? We say, yes, it's taking place, but you have also to believe in us that we are doing and we are organizing. Our company started in September last year, having 4 shows in autumn last year, and one I mentioned at the beginning of this year, and all these shows were successfully. Every exhibitor and every visitor who were sure, okay, they will make it and it will be a success, who is believing in that. Everyone was really satisfied, and he said, okay, the business was not like before. Okay, we have to say the business is not like before. But the business is changing in the last few months. So we just have to be sure that every exhibitor and visitor is believing in us. But of course, you're right. We are doing marketing more and more now, and we are doing more send-outs and more communication on that point. And that's also the reason why we are having communication this afternoon, also with the content of today's press conference. Okay, thank you for the first round of questions. I would just stop it at that point. Thilo, thank you for answering the questions in the chat at that point. Yeah, thank you very much for that. And we are now moving on to the statements of our exhibitors. And we will start with Mr. Michael Gubisch, CEO of SCHAEFER.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. Thanks to Henning for introduction. And you probably all know me, or most of you know me. And I have actually 2 hearts in my breast. One heart is, of course, I'm on the board, on the VFA board, and also together with AFAG on the decision board. Do we do this exhibition or do we rather cancel it? And I'm pretty much convinced that we should have the exhibition. But on the other hand, so this will be the second heart in my breast, is I'm responsible here for a 200 square meter booth, and also for the people attending the show, and then of course making the decision is the company SCHAEFER attending the show at all. So we discussed this one internally, and we agreed that, or let's rather say we had a discussion about the emotions we have in Germany now. The numbers are going up, and we talk about an exhibition held in April. And I don't trust the German government at all at that point, but I trust the scientists, and I trust the biologists, and they are saying that, of course, numbers are going up right now, and we're going to have a peak together with this Omicron variant by February, and then the numbers are going down. And mid of February, we're going to have this peak, and there are still 2 months to go for the Interlift exhibition. Then, of course, we are having a booth, and the booth we need to make a decision right now. And I'm pretty much convinced, according to the facts, that with the show will be happened, of course, under hygiene circumstances, but we are all used to that. As we learn, most of us they have the vaccination, so the exhibition will be done. And as we said, and according to some other facts given by AFAG in earlier meetings, that right now exhibition, they have less exhibitors. Of course, some of the exhibitors we are missing coming from Far East, because they are not liking Europe. They like Europe, but of course they have lots of difficulties going back to their countries. When you go back to China or India, you face a long quarantine period to stay in a hotel, whatever. So these people may be missing a lot. And also I'm expecting missing a couple of visitors from Europe, together with in the past. I know in how we attend the show, with, I don't know, 20, 30 people, and right now we make a decision, maybe rather coming just 15 of us. So this will be the reduction of the people attending the show. But the most important issue is for me, the Interlift will be happen, and this is what I see right now. And then we will have a good exhibition, because there are a lot of decisions maker definitely attending the show. So this will be my let's say, my proposal for the Interlift.
Thank you, Mr. Gubisch, for starting our round of statements of the exhibitors. A second, I would invite the CEO of company COBIANCHI, Mr. Rudolf Ramseier. Please take the word.
Thank you, Henning. I think you can hear me. Do you hear me? Yes?
We hear you loud and clear.
Yes.
Still? Okay, happy about it. So thank you for your words. About Interlift, yes. We had the first participation in 1991, and since then we have never missed Interlift. It is for us, and it was, and it is still the most important exhibition we are participating. Before 2019, we was every year on 4 to 5 different exhibitions worldwide, mostly on 3 to 4 different continents even. So after the great exhibition 2019, we was looking forward to the edition 21. Unfortunately, this could not be happen. Soon after the Interlift 2019, we remarked that something is changing. Now, almost 2 years after, we see that it will be possible to go to Interlift again. Thanks to the huge effort of AFAG and VFA and positive forward-thinking people. In any case of difficult times, like the recent pandemic, you find fully scared people, struggling companies, and not working or bad working organizations. But also in such cases and such times, you find the opposite. Undeterred organization, strong standing companies, and personalities looking forward. All this you will find soon again in April in Augsburg. You will see their products, the people behind again, and you will see the result of the recent developments they made in the last 2 years. We, COBIANCHI, will of course be there, no doubt about. Our council made soon decisions to open again restrictions, and we will lose a home, but we have to work at home. We will lose the mask in the public. It is opening completely, we hope, at the end of February. So I really hope to see you and auditors here and other exhibitors, of course, visitors too, not digital, soon in Augsburg again. It is a good time for. We should restart and losing the fear and being less scared about the ending pandemia. We are going in the endemic phase now, and we can be quite positive. So come to see to Augsburg, come to see us, of course, and I hope that you will be there and meet me, my staff, and my newest e-safety we developed in the last 2 years, a half year too long after last Interlift. It will be a pleasure for you to see you. And an answer to Thomas Prey, yes, we will go there with my staff. I will not be there alone. I will take my engineers with me again. I will have my administrations there. We have about 4 new young people. They were never in the Interlift. They started working in the last 24 months, and I will take them to Interlift. They should visit my competitors, my friends, and they should see what Interlift is. And I do not want to wait up to 23 for this. Yes, I will take them with me, and I'm sure that we will have more visitors than expected today. I was in Anacam in last November, as Achim Hütter told you. It was a fully crowded people, of course, national one. I was in Russia last June. Whole Europe was almost laughing about this exhibition. Also, National Lift Union and VDNH made a big effort as organizer. And they had 3 days of exhibition. 2 days were crowded completely. Nobody expected this. Even not the exhibitor, National Lift Union, they were also surprised. So I'm quite positive that we will have more visitors than negative thinking people are expecting today. So we will be there. Come to us and visit Interlift 22. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ramseier. So we are all invited for a coffee having at COBIANCHI booth, I think, now. Thank you very much for that. And thank you very much. And now we are moving over. I would like to invite the export area manager from Nova Elevators, Ms. Rachele Soffritti. Please, the stage is yours.
Hello, can you hear me? Good morning, everybody.
Loud and clear. Okay.
Good morning, everybody. And it is a pleasure for me and for all Nova team members I'm representing today to be here with you, even if today we are on a screen once again, to confirm that our company will be present at Interlift 2022. And so first of all, we would like to thank the organizer for making this happen and for the great effort they made. So our company Nova has always regularly and proudly attended and exhibiting at Interlift, but there is no doubt that for us, for the whole company, will be of particular significance. We are really waiting for it, okay? So after months of eager waiting, we now have the opportunity not only to show the novelties, the improvement made on our product range, but it's important for us to have the opportunity to meet once again in presence the international partners who work with us, the other visitors and exhibitors. So the Interlift for us will not only be an exhibition, but it will be a real meeting point for people. And given current difficult pandemic situation, maybe we will not have the opportunity to shake physically our hands, but we will be there and we will be ready.
Unfortunately, we lost, I think, Ms. Soffritti. Can you hear us? We cannot hear you anymore, unfortunately. Okay, my suggestion is we try to reconnect Ms. Soffritti, and we are now moving over to the next statement of Exhibitors. So please, the Public Affairs Director from Orona, Mr. Peyo Garcianda, please, the stage is yours.
Very good morning, everyone, VFA President and AFAG Board and industry colleagues. It's my utmost pleasure to be today with you here, and just to emphasize that Orona will be attending and will be supporting Interlift as we have been doing in the last 14 editions already. This is our determination, that is clear. We are facing all of us very challenging times, that's clear. However, our industry is evolving and we need to bring people together and we need to gather our customers, our lift companies in our case, together in order to keep that contact. Long term, in my understanding and in my perspective, long term is the word that we want to emphasize in this edition, the most European edition ever of Interlift. But we are fully, as I said, determined with the exhibition. We will be exhibited in hall number 1 with a large booth, as we have done in the last editions of Interlift. And definitely, this will be an investment for the future. That is clear for everyone. And we must be there as sector and as one of the leading actors in the sector. So I encourage everyone to join Interlift on April 26th to 29th this year.
Thank you very much for your statement. Also for the last year's Orona participation was a very attractive one. Thank you for that. And also we like, of course, the Italian and also the Spanish design, and which is also represented by your booth design. So thank you very much for being present. And also we are looking forward for your new presentation in hall number 1. Thank you for that. I just had on my sheet of paper many questions from the chat. I think Thilo was working very hard to answering every questions in the chat. And hopefully, I think everything now in the chat is clear. I have one question left about the visitor numbers we had by Mr. Pry before. He was saying that the visitor numbers of the last edition of Interlift was going down by 85%. Mr. Pry, very interesting for us where you get this information. I just was proving the numbers once again, and we had in 2019 in the last edition nearly the same number, 50 visitors left, 50 visitors less than 2017. So I don't know where you get the information. Mr. Pry, can you just
yes, I can state on that. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I did not say that the Interlift had 85% reduction, obviously, because it was 2019 and it was before the Corona crisis anyway. So there wouldn't have been any reason. If you had that trouble in 2019, I think we wouldn't be speaking about an Interlift right now right. In the first place. So no, there is a kind of an official website on fairs in Germany in general. I forgot the name, but I can look it up again. And they made an analysis, and they had a reduction in visitor numbers of 85% in 2021. Given that the first half of 2021 was basically not happening, and there was much more happening in the second half of 2021. That would lead to the question, but it's basically useless. Why didn't we have the Interlift in October 2021 when the situation was probably not worse than the one that we're having right now. It was basically looking ahead, and that's what we're all are trying to do right now. And that's obviously what those exhibitors, and amongst them the biggest and some other very big ones, used to decide that they're not coming this year. I was in that context wondering, why are we not postponing the Interlift to the rhythm of October again? Obviously, there can be another variant of the virus, we know that. But these questions, I think, are legitimate, and everyone needs to answer them for themselves. So if we hear from our customers that for sure 70% are not coming, I agree with you, people change their mind. But the question is, will there? And if somebody like Vfa is not coming, it's not good for anyone else, because after all, they're one of the biggest suppliers of elevator parts on the planet. You know the arguments from Fermator. Fermator is an important partner of the LFCO, saying that they made a poll amongst over 100 countries, basically confirming what Rudolf Ramseier said, that we will probably not see many people from outside Europe. It's going to be a European fair, which would be okay for us, not ideal, but for our business. But yet it doesn't help if nobody's coming. And it's a matter. It's not a matter of exhibiting and having a surface. It's a matter of the effort you have to put in it to get there, because the fairground is too expensive. If I compare it to the Interschutz, I can say that, but that's not the biggest cost. The biggest cost is what we have to bring there if we bring whole elevators and not only parts and people. So that's a question every single one of us has to answer. And as we know, our second partner, Kolmorgen, who's next door, whom I wanted to ask if I can have the aisle between us, said to me, "Oh, you can have the whole stand because I'm not going to show up." So for us, that's less than ideal. And I have a nice competitor in front of my door with Orona, so some changes that are not ideal for something like a kind of a startup business that LFCO is. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Frey. Stating or coming back to the numbers of visitors at German fairs in 2021, it's not completely correct that fairs only happened in the second half of the year. It's not the second half of the year. Fairs were allowed last year in the time period from September to October to the beginning of November. So we have about 10 weeks. We only have about 10 weeks, and after that, fairs are have been cancelled through the whole calendar, and so we are talking about 10 weeks time. And so the numbers, the figures, and the visitor numbers of trade fairs in Germany 2021 is not representative at all, unfortunately. Unfortunately, of course, because also in this time period, very successful shows were coming up, and I think also time goes on, and as you said, of course, we don't know which variant is coming up next, but we also don't know. German government is telling us at the middle of February the wave is over, and afterwards we can come back to normal life. So that's also one possibility, which would be a game changer at all, if that will come up. So everything's opened, and everything will change within the next weeks once again. And also, you're right. We don't know what's coming up next, but we also don't know if we can have the endemic phase for the next time. So that would be also one possibility. Okay, I would love to move on if there are any additional questions from other colleagues. I see one raised hand by Ms. Koll. I don't know if it was a hand raised up before your question were answered in the chat, or do you have any question left, Ms. Koll?
For me, there is one thing that is not clear. Okay, I asked for the rules. I asked for the rules regarding distance and mask, and they say 1.5 meters and mask. But then in the stand, in the table, you don't need the mask and you don't need the distance. And then
that's just the same
when we have to put the mask and when we have to keep the distance.
Just compare it like the regulations if you're going into a restaurant. Into a restaurant, as soon as you're sitting on the table or you're standing on a standing table, you are allowed to remove your mask. If you're moving away from the table, if you're going into the aisle, or if you're moving to another stand, or if you're moving anywhere else in the fairground, you have to put on your mask. It's just like the restaurants. If you're coming into the restaurant, you have to wear your mask. As soon as you sit down, you can remove your mask. As soon as you stand up again and you're going to the toilet or to the bar, you have to wear again your mask. So it's the same regulation like in restaurants.
Okay, thank you.
And in
Thank
addition,
you also, therefore.
in addition, it's only a guideline with the 1.5 meters. If you show someone an engine or something else, and for the short time you must be closer, it's also okay if you wear a mask in this time. Okay.
It's okay. But I don't understand, I don't really understand these rules, but we have to keep, and it's okay, but I don't understand if you are sitting in a table with a client for a long time, you need a mask. You don't need a mask, but if you go to the bathroom, you need a mask. I mean, this is like, I don't know, I don't understand. For me, it's, I don't know.
It's German law. It's not allowed to.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
To prefer.
It's okay. Your rules are okay, but I don't understand them. But that's
But also for them, just to compare it once again with the regulations at the restaurant. If you go with your customer having a lunch, you're allowed to remove your mask at the table having your lunch. You know, as soon as you leave the restaurant, you're going to the bar or having the bill, you have to wear again your mask. So it's just the same regulation. Please do not ask about sense in Corona measures of countries. I think, of course, we can discuss if any regulation makes sense or make no sense. It's just regulation. So, but if you compare it with a restaurant, it's just good comparable and good understandable, I think.
I may add, Ms. Koll, that it's the same regulations as in Spain. In the Spanish restaurants, it's the same regulation. You have to put on your mask when you walk around or you go to the toilet. But if you went to sit at the table, you can remove the mask. So it's exactly the same.
Yes, in restaurants are the same, but I think in other fairs you need a mask because there are a lot of people. We are talking about 1,000 people, but it's okay. I only need to understand, but it's okay. Are the rules? I understand now. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
I just read one of the questions. Do we have to wear FFP2 mask or medical mask? At that point of time now, we have to wear FFP2 mask in Bavaria. Thilo's answering. Maybe it will change into medical mask before Interlift, but at that point of time, we have to wear FFP2 masks. So, do we have any questions for the public left from our media representatives, from our exhibitors? Do we have any question we did not answer at the moment? Please raise your hand. So if no question is left, I just invite you, contact us at any time, please. Our project team, Joachim Khalsdov, was presenting just a few minutes before. Please contact us. We are discussing with you. We are giving you the latest informations at any time you like, no problem at all. And if you have also questions for your booth building, for your booth presentation, for anything you want to know, just contact our team. We will be glad to assist you at any time. And hopefully, we can answer every question you have in time. And if not, we are checking the regulations and we are coming back to you as soon as any possible. So just for you to know, we are We have one question. Alma's talking about Interlift in 23. Is that right? Yes, it's right. You also see the date for 23 and 25 already in our presentation Mr. Kalsdorf was holding before. The new dates are already published. So you can see it also in our presentation and also in the database, of course. Okay, for finishing our today's press conference, I would pass over once again the word to Achim Hütter for saying goodbye, for saying some words that we are looking forward to see you and to see everyone in April in Augsburg.
Yes, and thank you, Henning. Yeah, I will just take your words again and say I'm looking forward to see hopefully everybody of you at Interlift. I understand that, of course, each company has to make their individual decision about taking part. This is nothing, I mean, even this year, it's the decision is maybe more difficult than in the years before. But again, we think and we are convinced that we will have the possibility to do that, and that there will be visitors will come. That's for sure. In my opinion, end of April is a long time. Hotel capacities are there, so I think we will get 50–60% of all the visitors at least. Thank you very much for attending, and again, I hope I can see you all at Interlift. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your questions, for your participation on today's event, and we're looking forward to see you in April in Augsburg. We will prepare everything perfectly, and you can be sure that we will do also the visitor marketing as professional as the years before. And so we will also have a very warm welcome to all our visitors from European countries, but also from everyone else will come from abroad. Thank you very much for your attendance today. Take good care and see you at the end of April in Augsburg. Bye-bye.